Good morning and welcome back. Today, I want us to consider the idea of balancing complexity and simplicity in the Bible. So join me today as we talk about the aspect of God is love, God is God. One could easily dwell too long on the hard things in the Bible. They are there. And Peter tells us so. He says that in Paul's letters from 2 Peter 3, verse 16, are some things hard to understand. You see, some people are wired to see those very things, those hard things. Others are wired to avoid them. And the Bible is made for both types of people. How shall we say this in a balanced way that honors both? Well, let's investigate. Perhaps it would help to do it like this. Consider that God is love, as it says in 1 John 4, verse 8, and that God is God, as it says in Isaiah 46, verse 9. I am God, and there is no other. I am God, and there is no one like me. The truth that God is God implies that God is who He is in all His glorious attributes and His self-sufficiency. But the truth that God is love implies that all of this glory is moving our way for our everlasting enjoyment. What a concept. What a concept. Those two truths, you see, unleash the very different impulses through the Bible. And we will see that a balance is introduced. That God is love unleashes the impulse of simplicity. And that God is God unleashes the impulse of complexity. That God is love unleashes the impulse of accessibility. And that God is God unleashes the impulse of perhaps perception, accessibility, perception. That God is love encourages a focus on the basics. And that God is God encourages a focus on comprehensiveness. In Acts 16, verse 31, one says, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved. In Acts 20:27, the other one says, I did not shrink from declaring to you the whole counsel of God. That God is love impels us to be sure that the truth gets to all people. And that God is God impels us to be sure that what gets to all people is the truth. Do you see the variance here? That God is love unleashes the impulse toward fellowship. And that God is God unleashes the impulse toward scholarship, fellowship, scholarship. That God is love tends to create perhaps extroverts and evangelists. And that God is God tends to create introverts and determined individuals. If any of you is saying to yourself, I don't like the separation between God is love and God is God. Well, between this and that, evangelists and determined individuals, fellowship and scholarship, accessibility and perception, simplicity and complexity. Good. Because in my mind, every one of these things is precious. And both sides of all these pairs are indispensable in the ministry and the mission of Christ in our world today. So, my prayer is this. For believers, I pray that seeing these different impulses in Christianity, you and I will embrace both of them. God is love. God is God. And if you lean toward one side, as many of us do, that you will be respectful and you will be affirming to those toward the other side, and that you will cherish a fuller manifestation of God in His church and in the world. And for those who may be hearing this without love for Christ in your heart, my prayer is that you have heard what you have heard will help remove some of the caricatures, the stereotypes of Christianity and the Bible, and perhaps open the way for you to see all that God is for you in and through the Lord Jesus Christ, so that you freely believe on Him. God bless, and I look forward to learning with you next time.